now. We're ready now.
I'm a sleepy little girl and it's a sleepy little day. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. My soul just left my body for a second there. I want to say, I know that you probably don't care about this, but I don't like the way that the podcast is filmed from this angle. I think that it makes me look awkward and much larger than Aaron. And I prefer to be equal on the chairs, but since it's raining, those outdoor chairs that we often bring in here,
They're definitely soaked. I didn't even think about that.
they're definitely soaking wet. I know you don't think about it because I know you prefer this setup because it's technically easier for you to do.
Yes, it is.
Why? Why is it easier?
It's a little because then I don't have to bring the chairs in.
And next time I'll bring the chairs in.
Deal. Shake. Sounds good.
So yeah. Anyway.
Okay, from now on, the furniture is your job.
Fine.
Good deal.
Okay, deal. Furniture's my job.
All right. There we go. That's how you make a deal.
So we'll see if I did my job next week on the pod. But I will because I hate this angle more than anything. But honestly, like I'm just feeling crusty today. I did the thing that you shouldn't do and picked my face right before this video. So at least the mic covers my chin. I have had a kind of an anxious week, honestly, but like a fine week. I'm doing better than some of these other vlogs. I think I'm going to look back on this and be like, what, was I okay? Maybe not.
That's fair. Or maybe it'd be like this.
I'm having like a deja vu moment, honestly. And I feel like well,
we've done like 50 of these, so.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
I'm just
trying
here
to,
right now.
That's okay. Do you need a second? That's fine.
Well, should we start over?
No, I think we're doing good. I think we should keep that so that they know what you're feeling. I don't think you should pretend.
Okay, I'm not pretending. I've honestly, daylight savings has wrecked me. I'm not going to lie. I have been going to bed. I know this sounds lame. Like all of you, honestly though, if you wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, you're probably not watching this podcast.
No.
Like there's no way. If you have
that type of work ethic.
You just don't relate.
You're not.
And it's not even, I don't even think it's a work ethic thing. Like hot take. I think that waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning is actually disgusting. And maybe it's disgusting, but for some people it's helpful.
You're not disgusting.
You're not disgusting.
That whatever's making you do that is disgusting. But if you're doing that, like if there's like a Marky Mark situation where you wake up.
Oh, like Mark, what's his
Wahlberg.
name? Why does he wake up so early?
It's just his routine. I think he wakes up at like 3 or something.
See, people who wake up at 3, like, what time do you go to bed? Genuinely.
He goes to bed at like, I mean, we could literally look this up.
5 p.m.?
But I think it's literally like he's in bed by 7.
Okay, that's still kind of late. I'm sometimes in bed by 7 and I'm still not waking up at 3 a.m.
Okay, no, he wakes up at 2:30 in the morning. He wakes up 2:45. It's prayer time. 3:15. It's only half an hour for the Lord. He's eating breakfast. He allocates the same amount of breakfast as prayer. Does that seem correct to you? Or does that seem fine? Do you think you should be praying more than you're eating?
No.
What should we be doing more of?
I think a half an hour meal and a half an hour prayer. Like half an hour prayer feels like a lot.
That feels like a lot, yeah.
Half an hour meal feels like a short amount of time.
That's a quick bite, yeah. But presumably he's not preparing his own food.
Well, just tell me what time he goes to bed, Aaron.
Okay, sorry. We'll skip. Post-workout meal. Post-workout meal. Good for you, sir. Golf every day? Anyway, sorry. I'm getting pick up kids at school. Yeah, right. Dinner, family time, 5:30. Bedtime at 7:30.
So he probably goes to bed at the same time as his kids. That's honestly not...
He only gets 7 hours in.
Yeah, that's still disgusting. You should not be up before it's light out.
2:30
unless
is crazy.
You're like, I don't know. And I'm a morning person. I genuinely am. I think I'd wake up at 7 naturally every morning and get going on my day and be in bed by 11 p.m. and feel really great about my life. I do. But, you know, I do tend to wake up at 6 and it's fine. And it's been fine, except for the fact that daylight savings has wrecked me. I don't think it's good for my body. I'm going to bed at 11 p.m., waking up at 6, and maybe Marky Mark would say that that's for the week, but you know, might. I don't know. I don't like just the darkness. I don't like living in the darkness unless it's night. Yeah. You know, I don't want half of my day to be in the darkness.
I agree completely.
Maybe. I don't know. But the
He
point is,
golfs for half an hour?
Aaron,
Is that
that's
even
probably
possible?
fake. Why do you think that that's real? Do you think that that's actually him that posted that?
Yeah. That's on his account.
Just close that shit, Aaron. Why are you focusing on that? Aaron has been focusing on the nastiest stuff lately. Like, I honestly can't handle it. I was sitting outside in the rain, right? I had just come back from the gym. I had a weird day. I've been having a weird week. I'll explain later. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm sitting in my car. The rain is coming down. I go to Instagram because my mind is how it is right now, mush, and I'm microwaving it more by going to Instagram. And I go there and I see Aaron's Finsta account. And I click on it. Aaron only posts on Finsta. He doesn't post on Instagram because, I don't know, he thinks it's edgy or something. I don't really know why. And I see this crusty ass vlog of him in our bed, his mustache not shaved as it currently is right now. And he's like zooming the camera in and out of his crusty little face and saying, and I love him, I do, but I've never been more icked in my life than seeing this video. He proceeds to say that he is going to buy a, what would you call what you're gonna, would you just,
you claim to watch the video, you don't even know what I'm building, so.
He's building a server. He bought a server for $600. And because he feels that the prices in streaming services are going to be going up astronomically, he believes that it will be $40 to $60 in the next few months.
I never said that.
This is what I got from the video. So I'm sitting there watching this video, and he's saying that he's bought the $600 server and that he will be canceling all streaming services in the next couple months. And I'm like, okay. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, Aaron wants to cancel all the streaming services. I'm really nervous about it. And she's like, you know what? That's his money, so he can decide what to do. He doesn't have to ask you about it.
Snappy snaps.
And I was like, Mom, he does have to ask me about it, because if he's going to bring a large piece of equipment into my apartment, he needs to tell me so that I know where to put it. Anyway, I had just, like, before I left the house, gone over a ton of things that we had to do. Okay. One of them being podcasting, because I know we haven't been on our shit about it, and I apologize. Okay. I'm going to take half the responsibility for that. Okay.
50%.
50% my fault.
I'll take the other half.
Anyway, so we were talking about podcasts. We were talking about editing some stuff for you guys. We're talking about the future, our lives. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's getting to work. He decided not to come to the gym with me because he's getting to work. I open my phone. I see this video. I know that he's been laying in bed, scheming away, looking at all the DVD videos he can buy on he can rent from Blockbuster. Not Blockbuster, the library. Fuck my life. I'm so old.
Blockbuster?
I used to love Blockbuster, bro. Like, every Friday, my family and I would walk down the street to 31 Flavors and then rent a Blockbuster
Because act like you were
movie.
you act like you were a 90s family. In 2010, you were getting Blockbuster?
Yeah, we were renting Blockbuster
Until
every
what
week.
year? Was Leela alive?
Yeah.
How old was she? How old were you?
I don't know, like 10, 11.
Wow. Good for you guys. I guess there was a Blockbuster.
I was pretty little.
Well, we never went.
Maybe it was like ended when I was like 10.
I think we did Netflix DVDs though. Before they did streaming and they did DVDs.
We had no idea what Netflix was until about 2 years ago. When
Got it.
my family
Understood.
found your passwords
For
and
sure.
has taken your account.
Yeah.
But
Not
now my
anymore.
family has their own account and
Not
they
anymore.
won't share it with me.
Because they block. It's not their fault. It's Netflix's fault.
You're right, Aaron. It's Netflix's fault.
Guess
and
why?
That's why we're building a server.
Yep.
I don't want a server, okay?
Why?
Because the
Name
thing that I like is that I like to browse,
You like to go
Aaron.
boop, 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 boop.
No, I like to see. I don't know what's hot. I don't know what's trending. I don't know what I'll be interested in. I like to browse the descriptions on Netflix and then click on
What
one.
if we had that all for you?
You think you can get every single show from Netflix put on your server, plus Hulu, plus what if I want Peacock, Aaron? What if I feel like mixing it up with Peacock? Okay.
I think this is what you could do. You could be like, oh my gosh, what should I watch? You can even ask it. I want to watch something like this. What if we could recommend you a title?
What are you fucking setting up AI to it? You are, aren't you? You're already scheming away coding it with your brother, aren't you?
No.
For real?
For Gran.
Really? What were we talking about with him last night?
That was something separate.
What was it?
It was a birthday present for my mother.
No, there was something else going on in that conversation at the beginning.
That was the only thing.
I don't trust Aaron is my point. And maybe he will create a great server. But what you need to do is, if you're a genius person out there like Aaron is, because he genuinely is one of the smartest people I know. If you are a genius person like Aaron, take ADHD medication. And I actually think you have ADHD. I talked about it with my mom. She thinks you do too.
It's probably true.
Because you can't focus on one thing.
Do you think it's a mania thing?
Mania?
So hyperactive. You're adding the H in there.
ADD. You're not active. You're not hyper.
I'm not hyper.
You're too mellow sometimes.
I see. Yeah, I think it's a...
like, look at you. Like, you fall asleep on the podcast. Aaron, I
I'm
feel
not
like
falling asleep!
I feel like when people watch this, they're like, wow, she's really mothering him. Like, she's such a bad girlfriend.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
But what if they do?
I don't think so. If you think that, let me know. Do you think she mothers me? Do you think that?
I think they're going to say yes.
I don't think so.
Do you think that he's a baby? Answer that question. Okay?
If anything, I'm an orphan.
Anyway, Aaron's created a server. That's basically what we've got going on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
speak.
No, because
speak your
there's an Aaron hate club now, and
no, there's only one member in the club, and it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to that. I love you, clearly.
It's not just... It's okay. We're looking too closely on the own media portion of it. It's that I have on my desk 10 million hard drives of videos, of footage that is just unsorted on my desk, and I'm tired of it.
From the stuff that we've created.
Yes. Like, do I delete the old Frankensophine stuff? Do I delete all the John and Co footage?
No.
No, right? We gotta keep it. It's archival. What?
I'm like, ugh.
What? You're reading emails on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, we're at this point where we're reading emails on the podcast, so I'll just talk to myself now.
No, I'm sorry. I did not mean to read emails. I'm on edge, okay? I'm on fucking edge. Last week, I'm just going to say this because no one I know watches this podcast. Mm-hmm. Last week, I got 2 callbacks and I got sent to the producers for an audition. Mm-hmm. 3 separates, okay? Very grateful, very happy about this, right? I have not heard back on any of them, and it's been a week. And I have been just not well. Like, I honestly, I've been the way that I am right now. I am super excited this happened because 2 weeks ago, I was like, I just need a call back. I just need to get a call back. It's been so long, I haven't got a call back. Bam. Then I get kind of ish 3, right? And now, like, I'm excited about it. I guess I'm happy that you've gotten this far. But, you know, some days you just want to be like, Sophia, some days you just want to be like, fuck it. I don't even want to just get this far. I want to go all the way. I want to go all the way. And I'm just putting this on here because I know that future Sophias are going to look at this, like little Sophias when I'm big Sophia. They're going to look at this and be like, you know what? It took her a long time and she got there. So I'm just trying to share the process because look, here's the thing that I do that I talked about. One of our friends also does this, and I was really comforted by it when Aaron told me. I have this toxic trait where I look up a celebrity and I see how successful they are and how long it took them to make it. And then I look to see when they booked their first thing ever. And I calculate based on the year that we are now. I do the math with my calculator and I find out how old they were.
With your calculator?
With my calculator on my phone because I can't do math in my head. Okay. And anyway, I do that and then I hope and pray. And for most people, I find that they book their first major thing when they're about 24 or 25, if they make it by the time they're in their 30s. And so I'm really freaking out right now. I got, I'm gonna say semi-positive news because it's like good feedback, but it's not like super positive where it's like, yay, you're gonna make money and your career is gonna move forward, right? And it also depends like what project you book, how far is your career gonna actually move forward. You don't even know. And I know that I sound crazy, and I know that Aaron sits here when I'm buzzing around the room like a little bee, and he's just like, oh, Sophia, like, but this is my whole life. Okay, this is like everything that I pour my heart and soul into and think about 24/7 and occupies my brain. And I know that it's taking up all my energy, and I know that I need to stop and whatever. But I just wanted to tell you where my mind's at right now and that I feel unwell. And I'm sure a lot of you have been in this position where you feel like maybe you're moving forward, but you have no idea. And so I feel very anxious. And a couple weeks ago, I felt like, you know what? I'm probably not going to book anything. And I'm just going to have to make it. We're just going to have to make it on our own. We're just going to have to pull a Sean Baker and really maybe not get that far, but really grind for years and years and years and make our own things. And I was okay with that. And then I got a glimmer of hope. And it's been destroying my week. It's been wonderful. Like, really, I'm so happy I got that glimmer of hope. But I'm also like, Sophia, your life needs to change. And you can't just wait for outside sources to change it. I'm so exhausted.
Did that have a period to the end of that, or more of an ellipses? Okay.
Go ahead.
Great. First thing, the Sophias that are watching you, is that you or is that people like you?
Both.
Okay. Okay, great.
Sophia's all encompassing.
Okay. Of all people. I understand. Okay, great. That was
it's
number
also
one.
the little girls like me, okay?
Right.
Or little boys or little
whomever you are.
That are watching. And they want to be actors too.
Right.
And they have toxic traits.
Right.
And I want to be able to feed into their toxic trait. That is why I have created this podcast.
You want to feed into it? You want them to feel like it's okay.
It's like, for example, so Doechii did this thing where
Yes.
she did the artist's way and posted about her journey like for years, right, on YouTube, and did these like little vlogs. And it was kind of her like pumping herself up, but also dealing with a lot of her doubts as an artist. And I wouldn't say that this is as profound as that, but I will say that when you're struggling and you look at these actors who have quote unquote made it, their lives look really perfect. And when you're calculating from the Wikipedia page how long it took them to make it and how long it took them to book, that feels like a numbers game that you're always working against. But if you have a real person that you can talk to and look at and see their ups and downs the way that you can see my ups and downs on this podcast, I really hope to relate to other people and tell future actors out there that it's gonna be okay. Now, this is betting that I make it out the other end. Because right now I am a little Sophia. But in maybe, who knows when
6
that
months.
can change?
Yeah.
Who knows when Big Sophia will emerge from Little Sophia? But right now I'm feeling pretty freaking tiny. And I'm sharing this all with you guys because I don't have any friends, and this is better than any of that. I know, I'm fine actually.
I know, you're doing great.
Old Sophia would have been a mess.
Yeah, I know.
I remember, okay, I'm going to say this because, again, focusing on the journey here.
Right.
So about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, it was end of 2023, I was picking up similar momentum for probably projects that I wasn't even as interested in. Mm-hmm. But they were like, low budget feature films, similar, right? And I got to the final rounds of those as well. And I remember now I haven't heard no from these callbacks yet. So ask me in a week how I will feel, okay? Depending on the answer. I'm not going to pretend that I'm high and mighty over here, okay? I got like 3 no's in the same day, in the same couple of days for projects that I was really close to. And I remember locking myself in my closet and hysterically like hyperventilating, crying to my mom on the phone, like how I used to cry when I was really little, and she'd have to tell me to breathe in and out. And then the strike happened. So the momentum kind of like stopped. I feel like a year and a half later, I'm starting to pick that up again. And who knows what can happen, because the strike happened then. So something can happen now. We never know.
Right.
But
You mean a good thing?
a good or a bad thing.
Oh, okay.
But I think the good thing is that I still have you all these years later. And if you go back
Nice.
to 2023 at this time, you'll probably see me hysterically crying on the pod.
Yes.
Did I cry today? No. I only watered a little. That's it. I only watered a little.
When?
Just now.
Oh, great.
It was casual. You didn't see it.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, how have you been?
I've been great. I've been good. Yeah.
Are there any comments that you want to make about your life, Aaron?
About my life, I think I'm mostly processing responding to you, which is, I think, you're someone who looks for signs. And I think that, if anything, these are just signs that you need to keep going. I feel like you've been, not at a crossroads, but you've been feeling a little burnout.
I have been feeling burnout, but when have I not been feeling burnout?
But this one felt a little different, where you were considering pivoting.
What do you mean? I've never considered stopping acting.
Of course not, but I think you were that doesn't mean I think you were considering
I'm still
stopping
considering pivoting. Let me tell you guys, okay? This dreaded portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've decided that I need a job to support myself other than the Pilates studio, as I've said many times on this podcast, because it's just not cutting it some days, right? And I did implement babysitting, which has been helping a lot, and this child brings me so much joy. So that's really helped. So for a little bit, I was like, okay, I need to pivot my career entirely, but obviously not stopping acting, but, find a more stable career that I can pursue while I get all these no's.
Right.
And then I got babysitting, so I was like, you know what? I think I'll be okay to ride it out for like a little bit longer. But what we kind of decided collectively, as me and Aaron, big guy, little guy, big girl, is that I should apply for copywriting jobs, because I did get a minor in creative writing, you guys. So if you know anybody hiring copywriters, I can have some snazzy little words in there. I can spice up your products. So I start working, because to become a copywriter, you need an online portfolio. I start working on this portfolio, and it's been like 2 months since I've started working on this portfolio. I come to it when I'm like in a weird place, but I feel like I need to do something with my life. And my mom is like really attached to this portfolio. Like I don't know what it is about my mother, but she has this weird, like, she senses signs in a way that sometimes jinxes me, which I'm a little terrified of her in that way. And she means the best. She really does. But she called me yesterday and she goes, Sophia, how are you doing with, I know you don't want me to mention it, but that portfolio. She always brings up the portfolio every time we talk. How are you doing with that portfolio? Because I think that when you focus your energy on the portfolio and finish the portfolio, something else will come up in your life, an opportunity for acting that has nothing to do with the portfolio, because you focused your energy somewhere else. It's like when you really want something and you never get it, which I don't know how I felt about that. But then I did Spiral after that, and yes. I called Aaron about it, and he said, I think you should talk to your mother and decide what this means. So I hung up on Aaron. And then I called my mother, and she was like, you're acting like I'm doing some witchery, and like hoping that if you like putting all this effort into this portfolio, but I did feel like that, you guys. I did feel like I don't know. So now I'm like kind of worried about this portfolio. I know that I'm kind of rambling right now and that this is a lot of like blah, 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 but yeah, there you have it. Oh. That was me. I guess, was that what you're talking about by me pivoting?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there have been times when you said, Aaron, I think the thing to do is to start a bakery and become a copywriter full time. I've heard that come out of your mouth.
Macchiato shittiato.
Yes.
But macchiato shittiato is still a thought in my mind sometimes.
A dirty chai? Would you serve that? What would be on your menu?
I'm going to say this here again, because if you're a new listener, you should know this. I like set little food rewards for myself every time I make a goal in my life. Okay. And usually they're like a financial reward, something that's like, it's usually food because food is what excites me the most in life, like aside from acting. And so honestly, they go pretty hand in hand. That's how much I love food. But anyway, I go to this coffee shop and at this point I pay probably the same amount for a matcha latte at other coffee shops. But a couple years ago, I wanted to get a dirty chai because I'd never had a dirty chai and I really liked the chai there. But it was $8. Okay. And I was like, this is
Which
ridiculous.
means it's probably like 9 or 10 now.
Yeah, it's probably like 9 or 10 now. I was like, this is ridiculous. I cannot afford this. One day when I book a series regular, I am just going to walk into that coffee shop, order a dirty chai, film myself doing it, and post it to my channel. And only the real fans will know what has happened once I do that. And I still plan on it. Now, 2 years later, I don't know if like the dirty chai, the $10 dirty chai has the same appeal, but you know, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And I will enjoy it because it will taste like victory. Certain foods taste like victory.
True.
You know? What's
Yeah.
your victory food?
Victory food. I would say a nice slice of pizza. Or, yeah.
Like, let's
Feels
say,
good. Or donut.
what would be, oh my God, that's so Kim Kardashian of you.
What?
You know why?
Why?
Because when she goes to the Met Gala,
Yes.
after the Met Gala, she orders pizza and mini donuts to her room.
Wow. That's a great choice.
Like, what would you, if you had a big,
Mini donuts.
yeah, she does the mini donuts that you can get at Bryant Park. I've never had them. I'm not a huge donut person. Like, I do like a donut. I
don't
will
like
eat
the
it if
mini.
it's in front of my face,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, I'd rather have like chocolate or cake or ice cream or brownies or
yeah.
cookies are my go-to. A good chocolate chip. Divine.
Divine. Yes.
So what would be like your dream? Give me a goal that you have, and then do you have what would be your celebratory thing after you achieve a goal, or do you not do that?
Honestly, I don't even think it's like a food. More so, it is just like a day to veg or a moment to veg. Like, I like that finishing whatever it is, and then I just get to relax for a second, and I feel like I earned it. Because when you're relaxing but you feel you didn't earn it, you feel like a little bastard, you know? Like, you just don't feel right.
Feel a little dirty.
You feel like you just didn't earn this.
Yeah.
Especially if there are things that you need to do and you know that there are things you need to be doing. But that second where you finish that thing and then you get to take a few hours or watch a nice... Like for you finish your work, all your things, and then you get to watch your TV show.
My favorite part of the
It's
day
the simple pleasures for me.
is sitting down on the couch with my meal. I know this sounds like I'm a lazy little loser, but I love sitting on the couch with food and watching a TV show that is mindless.
Lately for me, it's been opening that Diet Coke with the meal, going tss.
Little crunchy Diet Coke.
Yes.
Crisp. Yeah. I'm not a soda baddie. I'm not.
You know,
I like poppies sometimes, but then I just kind of sip on it and leave it there.
Yeah, you do that with drinks in general. You're not a finisher with the drinks. You get a sip. Like, let me see that tea.
I like to hold the drink.
Let me see that tea. How much have we got?
Halfway.
That's pretty good for you.
Yeah.
Usually it'll stay 75 to 50%.
Well, because it gets cold. It's mainly the fact that I like to hold the drink.
Warm thing.
Yeah.
A warm bev. I
A
understand.
warm bev.
And there's no judgment.
You want a nice bev sometimes.
I like a crisp, cold beverage. For me. Yes. Well, yeah, no, I think the simple pleasures are great, and I think it's good to reward yourself when you've done something that deserves it. I'm trying to think, what have I been up to this week?
You went to New York.
Yeah.
Was there anything that happened there?
Not.
You were like,
Really, it was pretty cold. I went on like the last week before it kind of gets nice.
Okay.
You know, so it's still kind of cold.
So here's my question to you.
So cool.
Every time you go to New York,
Brr.
you get really excited to go to New York,
Yeah.
and then you text me that you're really grateful that you live in LA.
Yeah.
Why?
I get like, you know, I equate New York to Disneyland
Okay.
because
To the happiest place on earth.
while you're there, because it's such a beautiful city. There's a million things to do. Every, place in the city is beautiful. You're walking and the buildings are gorgeous and the food is delicious. But if something about it feels like, unless you're really rich or you have deep familial roots there, like generational roots.
You do, though.
Yeah, but not that have consistently lived there. Like my brother lives there, my dad grew up there, but no, it's not like there's a family home thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not like my family.
Yeah, no, I think it's quite different. So, all to say, I feel like the idea of being, and I feel like there's sort of like a romanticism about New York where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go up and move to New York. And if you are thinking of doing that, this is my suggestion to you. Stay there for like 2 months, okay? When that romantic feeling of walking down the street and there being a million things to do goes away. And instead of feeling like you're on top of the city, it kind of feels like everything is just sort of passing you by. And here's why. In the same way that when you first go to Disneyland, it's just like, wow, look at all these things. It's like a really shiny object. But there's something also distracting about it.
Well, that's why people go to Disneyland. I don't know if that's why people go to New York.
What do you mean?
People go to Disneyland to be entertained.
I think people go to New York to be entertained. I think it's like a super entertaining place.
But to live there is different, I think.
Exactly. So I think once you start I think the people who haven't moved there yet, who are attracted to it, are attracted to it because of that. And then I think once you're first of all, I mean, like, it was drizzling. Not even like how it was raining before, but it was drizzling. And I had so much equipment on me. And to take an Uber from like the financial district to Midtown was like $180 for a little drizzle. And then I took the subway, and a man came up to me, and he said, "Sir, do you have any change?" I said, "I'm so sorry, I don't." And I actually did it. And he turned around and he pulled down his pants and he showed me his butt, and there was poop in it.
Oh, you didn't tell me he showed you his butt. You just told me he had poo in his pants. Oh.
Poor guy. I wish I had the change.
There's a guy like that nearby Albertsons.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I think this time I had like several different weird, like I had more like weird encounters this time. And I think like just
Well, you were like approached on the subway a lot. People were really drawn to you.
yeah, people were
Do you
quite
think
drawn
it was
to me on the
you were carrying
subway.
a lot of things?
Because one time I was carrying a lot of
your
things.
energy just pulls people in, Aaron?
Well, one time I was eating something, and then someone came up to me and started yelling, "What are you eating? What are you eating? What are you eating? What are you eating?" It was a slice of pizza. I think it's quite clear what I'm eating.
You're right.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
So then he's saying, "What do you eat?" But I have my AirPods in, so I'm pretending not to hear this person.
Yeah.
It's clearly crazy.
Of course.
But he's our age.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's a young guy.
Oh, God. That's even worse.
It was just a little strange.
Yeah.
He's yelling at me, "What are you eating? What are you eating?" So like, look this way, look straight,
Oh, no.
this close, because I was
Oh,
sitting down. He
no.
sits right next to me. "What are you eating? What are you eating?" Hey, hey! He's yelling. I turn off sound canceling. He's screaming, "Hey, look at me!"
Bro, I would lose it.
So I get up, naturally, because I'm like, oh, I need to go look at what the times of the train are. And look, I didn't think this was like a dangerous person, but you can't. If you give a mouse a cookie, what happens? He comes back. Well, he comes back for more. So I did not want to reward that behavior. So I get up and I go to look at the train times, and this only infuriates him. So he starts yelling more. So I just turn the noise cancellation back on because I'm like, I don't even want to hear what he has to say. But I see in my periphery again that he gets up and he starts following me all the way. Like I'm taking the cue back up to Midtown. So, of course, I also like just missed the train too. So everyone at the station is gone. You know,
Yeah.
everyone is gone at this point because I literally just missed the train because my tap to pay didn't work. So I just missed the train. So it's just me and this guy. So then I get up and I move, and then this guy starts moving too. Toward me. But then like a group of like drunk people come down. So I'm just standing near them, and then he chills and then walks away. But then I get on the train, okay? And then he is walking through, you can, walk through different carts. So he walks through different carts to find the train that I'm on.
So he's like seeking you out.
Yeah, he was following me because he wanted to know what I was eating.
That's really scary.
So then we did like a little.
Did you finish your pizza?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Didn't stop the appetite. So then I get off the subway, and then we do the will they, won't they, because he's watching me to see if I'm gonna get off.
Did he get off?
So I get off, he gets off, then I got back on, and then the doors closed. Boom, outplayed.
Oh, that's really creepy. You didn't tell me it was that dramatic.
It was a little
That's
dramatic.
like a full chase scene. Was your
know.
heart pounding? Were you scared? Did you call anyone? Why didn't you call anyone?
He didn't seem that. He didn't seem like physical. Like I wasn't physically threatened.
Like you thought you could take him.
Like if the tides had turned, I could maybe outrun him. You know.
Yeah.
Like
you
I
have
could.
strong little legs.
Right. I feel like I had good pacing.
Yeah.
That being said, I just didn't want to deal.
Of course. That's weird and creepy.
It's just a little weird.
If that was me, I'd be breaking out in hives, like calling my dad.
Well, also there were a lot of people on the train, and then on that same train, this woman gets on, and she's an older woman. She has a ton of bags on her, and she's having trouble getting on the train. So she's like really trying hard. So then I try to help her, and she yells, "Get away from me! I can do it myself." And I said, "Yes, you can. Right this way." And then I didn't help, and it took her literally 2 minutes to get on the fucking train. So I think I just had a lot of weird experiences this time around. And maybe, I don't know, I think I had a weird 2 days when I was off work there.
I think it's like that thing when you go to a certain place for vacation or you go somewhere exciting or have an experience once. It's like super amazing. And then you go like the 5th time and the novelty starts to wear off.
Yeah, that's
You
that's
go to
all
New
that's
York
happened.
a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
To the point where like I know it pretty well.
But your brother loves living there.
Yeah, because I think if you have some money,
yeah,
it's an amazing place. If you're rich, there's probably no better city. And I
That's
truly
true.
mean that.
Yeah.
It's probably the best city to live in if you have a ton of money. But if you don't,
Like ridiculous amounts.
but you have to have ridiculous. Like everyone in Manhattan is wealthy. The average apartment is over $3,000. The average one bedroom.
But if I was gonna live in a place like that, I would want
The average 2-bedroom is $6,000.
a month.
Yeah, average in Manhattan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Average.
But I would want to be richer. Like, I wouldn't want to just be rich. I would want to be rich for New York, which is insane.
Yeah, no, you'd have to be.
Like, I would want to be able to like afford the life that I could have in California per se.
Yeah, yeah.
Or in
like LA.
I'm not gonna say in the Midwest. I'm not gonna be crazy like that.
Yeah, don't be crazy.
But a nice apartment and like
you could get a
amenities.
5-bedroom. You go to a 5-bedroom for a Tic Tac in Wisconsin.
I mean, let's not be like that.
Yeah.
But 5-bedroom for a Tic Tac. But I would want like, to be able to pay for taxis without worrying about it.
Sure. Right. Stay above ground.
Yeah.
You want to be rich enough to stay above the ground.
I want to be rich enough to stay above the ground.
I see.
I'm not a subway girly, and I think it's because I always grew up driving.
Sure. That's understandable.
My mom would be like, what the hell's wrong with you? San Francisco has public transportation.
Right.
I take it all the time. Well, but whatever.
Noodles soon.
Noodles soon, you guys. I'm like making fun of my mom, but honestly, she's my best friend.
Yeah,
I
she's
talked to
the
her
best.
for multiple times
Of
today.
course.
We talked 4 times today.
It's all love. All love.
I saw this hot take, speaking of in New York, that said that, when that guy goes on the bus and he interviews people on the metro with his little metro card mic.
Yeah.
And he said, what's a hot take to this man? And he was like, people call their parents way too much. Way too much. I don't even think they should call them once a week. And I was like, well, I'm fucked. I call my mom like
did you
3
think that
times
was,
a day.
Did you think that was a good take or?
Yeah.
He did.
Or he was like, oh. At
Explain
first he
more.
was with it. He thinks everything is a good take, though.
Yeah,
He agrees with everyone.
That guy is a little... Anyway,
But
I don't want to start any interchannel beef, but I'm just saying.
no, I kind of... Well, he's not going to start a fight on the subway, though.
Well, he should. It should be a contentious place of discourse. That's what the subway's for. People should be able to show you their butt crack, and they're supposed to be pooing it. That is the place where you're supposed to get involved with all different types of people. There's no hate. The guy who followed me, there's no hate. I think that conduct is completely appropriate for the subway. That's what the subway is for. Okay? It grounds you to reality. That isn't me hating on the types of people who use the subway. The point of the subway, and the reason why I think is vital to New York City, is because it forces you to interact with all different types of people. I'll leave it at that.
You're right.
So that should be a battleground. And if you disagree, there should be fights. That's all I'm saying. There should be no rules.
There are no rules.
Anyway, yeah, there are no rules. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
I don't know if I agree with that, though.
That's fair.
I
You
don't think
have
there
to.
should be fights. I don't.
Yeah, a guy came up to me and he started singing Elton John. I told you this, right? I was with my brother. There's this guy who's singing Elton John. It's a little bit funny. He did it like that. And then he looks at me and my brother are talking. He's like, why don't you be quiet? You know, you two are from the other side of the world. You don't even know anything. You're from the other side of the planet. I was like, oh, well, I mean, he's not technically wrong. From Hawaii, right? That's not what he meant, though. He's taken to a racial place. And I was like, learn something. You're singing Elton John.
You're right.
Should pick a more obscure artist.
Exactly.
Anyhow.
If he's going to be picky like that, he needs to pick a niche.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
So I'm glad that you met a lot of characters. It seems like you are a little bit over New York, which I'm fine with because you came home to me. And I missed you terribly this time. I really did not do well. Usually when Aaron leaves, I'm like, I'm an independent baddie. Like, I can cook for myself and watch however much TV I want and do whatever I feel. And, you know, I don't know. I have a nice time when I'm alone.
Yeah.
But this time was debilitating. I got a flat tire. And I know it's because I wasn't wearing my glasses in the morning, my contacts in the morning. I was late to work. I was driving about to park. For reference, I work very closely to home. I could technically walk there. But I decide to drive because I don't want to walk in the dark by myself. And I turn the car. I think I'm going to make the U-turn instead of the 3-point turn. And I slash my tire. And my dad knew immediately. He knew immediately that it was slashed instead of there being a nail. By the way that I described the air that came out, because when I got out of the car, I heard a psh, like an audibly loud psh, and I knew I was done for. So I didn't have my car. I couldn't really get around. My brother was in town for a little bit because he was playing rugby, and I couldn't even go and see him because I had no way of getting to him.
Oh.
And, you know, it just was a little bit isolating. I was really by myself a lot of the time, and I really missed Aaron. I really missed the warmth that he brings into the apartment. I missed, like, just kind of sitting next to him and having another body there and just really our bond. We're really tight, and I missed you.
We're bonded like wolves.
We are. Well, yes. I will say this. When we first started dating, Aaron is a very, like, quiet person in the way that, I don't know. I think that you do a lot of things on your own. I think that my problem is that I overshare things. Everything that I'm doing, I tell the people that are not even my friends, but the people that are very close to me, like my family and my boyfriend. I always tell those people. And I think that you just do a lot of things on your own and don't really tell anyone about it. But then it'll, like, come up later in conversation. And I'm not even talking about, like, anything sketchy. Like, I'm talking about, like, watching a movie or, like, listening to a podcast or seeing something that you really like and, like, researching it and delving into it. Like, you do that sort of thing. And because you're constantly doing something, like, he constantly has an AirPod in his ear. He is constantly listening to something. He's constantly learning about something. He's constantly watching things and educating himself. And his mind is always like, beep, 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 beep. about something that's not related to the present moment or like where I am. So I used to think, I was like, wow, I don't understand Aaron at all. Like, I really am never going to be able to read his mind. Like, we just don't have that connection. And I realized that it's just a lot simpler than that. Aaron doesn't have a lot of complex feelings that he's having up there. He's really just thinking about something that excites him. And I think we should all take a page from Aaron's book, really. I wish I could. Because I'm thinking about nonsense over here. Like, I'm sitting here doom scrolling on Instagram, thinking about doom and gloom and happiness and joy and just things that are so abstract. But Aaron's thinking and learning constantly. So he has no time for BS. He has no time for me.
Well, a lot of it is bullshit, but yeah, it's something. I'm occupying.
Yeah.
Yes. And now you catch up. Now you catch on pretty quick.
And like, I used to think like, oh, he's really mad at me. Like, I'm never going to understand why. Like, he's being distant. I'm never going to understand why. 99% of the time that Aaron is off and that we're off, it's just because he's tired. And he just needs to take a little nap and then wake up and drink a nice cup of coffee that he makes for himself. Give him a couple hours, give him his space, and he'll be back to normal in no time.
Well said.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Well freaking said. Yeah, most of the time it's just me reading about lately just different Blu-ray players. That's it. It's that simple.
I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we summed it up pretty quick. We did pretty good. 46 minutes.
Anyway,
We're so back.
We're so back, and I know we said that last time and then skipped a week though. So it does depend, honestly, how you're doing.
True that. All right, let's touch tips and give it a close. Go for it.
Fun bitches. I missed you, and I honestly miss Aaron a lot right now.